Hey guys, this is Bluffmunkey back again for Sonic Academy, and in today's video we're going to take a first look at a new plugin by Psychic Modulation, one of my favourite little plugin developers, called Bendobox. So let's get straight into that. Okay, so Bendobox is another one of Psychic Modulation's multi-effects plugins. In this case, we have a tone section and an echo section. As I said, this is going to be a first look. It's not going to be a full in-depth tutorial. We're just going to have a look at what this little thing can do. First thing to note is, as usual, we have the plugin resize option. Now, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a listen to the source material that we're working with. So it's just a very simple drum loop. And starting at the top here, we've got a tone section, mod gate, echo section, and delay gate. We're going to have a look at these one by one. Now, it's worth noting we have got global presets for all the controls, and we've got presets, the ability to load and save presets by section as well, which is very useful. So in the tone section, worth noting, I just want to have a look at this bass boost section first. I just want to have a listen to that in isolation before we try any of the other controls. There you go. So basically the bass boost, it allows you to boost particular frequencies and also define where that boost occurs. So it's a little bit like the Ableton drum bus plugin, the new one. But as well as that, we've got drive. And then there's the split function with the drive. And what the split function does, anything below the frequency you set with a split won't be affected. So what that means is if you have like in this case, a complete drum loop that you want to apply drive to, if I set this, for example, at 100 Hertz, or as close as I can get with my mouse, 98, that'll do. Anything below 98 Hertz won't be driven. And what that means is you can leave the definition of the low end in there and then drive everything else. And then we've got a low pass filter. Let me just turn this down again. That can be very resonant. And then if we add a little bit more drive, we've got saturation here. And crunch. And then we've got an overall mix knob. Now this drive button here, when you apply the drive button, it applies drive to the dry signal as well. So if I turn that off, you can't hear very much difference, but you're actually getting your tone effects applied to the dry signal as well, or the drive at least. Now, as I said, we can load in lots of different different presets on just this section alone. So we've got a bassline enhancer, crunchy. So there's all sorts of things you can do there. Now moving across to the mod gate, what the mod gate does, it allows you to apply modulation by either an LFO or this step gate at the bottom here. And you can apply that modulation to either the filter or the incoming amplitude or volume. Now I'm going to use a couple of presets here to show you what this can do. But basically the LFO can be set to time. So this is obviously synced to the DAW, 4 bars, you can do a dotted quarter note triplets, etc. And the LFO can be sine, triangle, saw, ramp, saw2, ramp 2 square, or random. And then the gate can also be timed, much longer obviously, because this defines how many or how long these 8 steps last for. And in this case, it's set to 1 bar. And then you can define whether the gate is hard, soft, or glide. So imagine a gate being on or off, like a pulse wave, or it can be kind of softened off, so it becomes more like a sine wave. And then we can define the gate length, how many steps we want the gate to apply for, the gate offset, and how much these modulations apply to the filter, which is this low pass filter here, or the incoming amplitude, the volume. And then finally, we've got this wave shift, and this is like the LFO phase. You can actually move the phase of the LFO. So let's have a listen to what some of this does. Something like this, boomerang. as I move the wave shift, it's changing the point at which these which the LFO is working. In fact, it won't do in this one because the LFO is not switched off. Switched on. Let me find one where the LFO is switched on. So what it does, it actually moves that modulation position. Okay, so next thing we want to have a look at is we're going to come down to the echo section. We'll have a look at this quickly because it's fairly self-explanatory. Echo is delay. We've got input volume. We've got two sets of timings for left and right, or we can link them together. We can apply ping pong, spread, which is basically width, feedback, damping, and damping works like a kind of almost like a bandpass filter, where you can apply more or less high or low end. So that's a high end delay, and that's a bit softer. So let's load in simple syrup. So again, their delay units always sound pretty good. We can use the same kind of gating modulation on the delay section as well. So that we don't have an LFO for the echo section, but we do have the same kind of gate. So same controls as before, but this time it applies to feedback, the delay feedback, or the input level. So how much signal you're feeding into the echo unit. That's what you're able to modulate here. So let's load in feedback gate 2. See what that does. Let's try something else. So you can hear those echoes coming in and out there. That's quite nice. So let me turn the tone section back on. That's pretty much it for the plugin. There's not a great deal to it, but it's been designed in such a way that when you use all these different components together, it actually ends up sounding pretty nice. So one last thing to look at is this freakout section at the bottom here and the mod total. So what this does, if you switch these both on, Echo's got a timing alteration parameter that you can set here. This freakout slider will actually alter the timing of the echo, the delay, and the filter based on how much this slider is moved across. So it's almost like you can make these build-up automations. Let's have a listen to it. Let's just choose something like this, dirty LFO. See what this does. Let's choose another preset. Something thing. See what it does? So it's giving you these weird effects based on changes in timing, based on how much you apply this slider here. It's worth noting that this is kind of sprung, this slider. As you click and drag it, as soon as you let go, it'll go back to where it was originally set. You can combat that by using the hold function, and it'll stay exactly where you put it. Because it's working almost like a DJ effect, where you push it on and off for kind of sections where you change from one part of a track to another. So depending on how you've got everything else set up, the effect of that can be probably quite unpredictable and quite unusual, which is what you want with this kind of plugin. And then the last control here is mod total. So these 4 modulation amounts here, this is almost like a macro of those 4 controls. And by default, it's set to 100%, but you can actually pull this right back down again. And again, for these transitions, you can automate this, pull this all the way down, and then push it back up again. So it's going to pull all these modulations down, and then you can automate them back up. So let's have a listen to that. So that's them off and back on again. Let's choose another preset. So that movement is then reduced. And then the mod total back up to 100%, everything's back to normal again. Let's try and find a preset where a lot of these are turned up, something like this. So with the mod total pulled all the way down, there's very little movement, and then the movement comes back. So that's pretty much it. Bendobox, another very interesting, very useful plugin by Psychic Modulation. I love these guys, I love what they do. Their tone section, their distortion always sounds good, and there's something about the echo, the delay algorithms that he uses. They always sound good as well. So it should be out by the time you see this video. So I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you guys again soon. Cheers.
Thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate all the support from you guys. If you love this video, then smash a like, and if you want to be notified about new videos, hit the subscribe and notification buttons. Peace!